Hey, Twisted News fam! Theo Shaft here, picking up on a story I first shared with you a little while back. Stick around until the end, and I'll point you to where you can catch the full, in-depth story. Today, we're talking about Karen Reed, dubbed America's happiest murderer, who's caught in a murder trial that's got everyone asking, is she a cold-blooded killer or the victim of a massive police cover-up? Buckle up because this one's going to get wild. Welcome back to Twisted News. I'm your host, Theo Shaft, and today we're diving deep into the bizarre and controversial case of Karen Reed, a Massachusetts professor accused of murdering her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Karen Reed, who's been dubbed America's happiest murderer, has been the center of attention ever since that cold January night in 2022 when O'Keefe was found dead in the snow. The prosecution claims Reed ran him over, leaving him to die. But this case is anything but straightforward. Reed has fought back, alleging that O'Keefe's fellow officers murdered him after she dropped him off at a party. And now she's got a legion of supporters who are convinced there's a police cover-up at play. Just this week, Reed compared her trial to the Vietnam War, soaking up the love from fans outside the courthouse. Reed and O'Keefe had been dating for 2 years, but the relationship was rocky. On the night of his death, Reed left a voicemail calling him a effing loser and saying, "John, I effing hate you." According to prosecutors, this wasn't just an argument, but a motive. They claimed that after a night of drinking, Reed dropped O'Keefe at a friend's house, and before heading home, she ran him over. Vehicle data shows her SUV reversing for 62 feet at 24 miles per hour, near the house where O'Keefe was found, and pieces of her taillight were discovered around his body. The cause of death? Blunt force trauma and hypothermia. But here's where things get twisted. Reed's legal team argues that O'Keefe was beaten to death by people at the party and that the police are framing her to cover it up. They've tried to get the case thrown out, but Judge Beverly Canone rejected their request, setting the stage for a second trial in January. Support for Reed has only grown, especially after another high-profile case involving Massachusetts police officer Matthew Farwell, who's on trial for the murder of Sandra Birchmore. Her death was initially ruled a suicide, but new evidence suggests she was strangled, leading some to believe there's a pattern of police corruption in the state. As Karen Reed prepares to face a retrial, her story has become a lightning rod for debates about justice, police integrity, and what happens when the system goes wrong. Is she guilty, or is she being set up? One thing's for sure, this case is far from over, and the truth, whatever it may be, will shock us all. Now, if you're looking to dive even deeper into this case, there's a 9-part podcast series presented by the prosecutors that explores every angle of the story. You can catch it on Spotify. To be clear, I'm not a part of it, and this isn't an endorsement. But if you're as intrigued by this case as I am, it's worth a listen. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to Twisted News. We'll follow every twist and turn as we approach the retrial. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, in Twisted News, nothing is ever quite what it seems. See you next time.